Hello, gents. Happy Thanksgiving. If that doesn't apply to you, happy Thursday. But in the spirit of Thanksgiving and being thankful, I want to share with you something I'm incredibly thankful for, and that is the ability to walk away from you, society, and everyone else. And now I want to talk about why we walk away, but I need to be upfront and direct with a few things. First, I don't represent all MGTOW because no person does, just like any other group classification or whatever group moniker you want to use. There's no one group or individual or person that represents all of them. Next, I don't claim that if you do like I do, you are more of a MGTOW, a better MGTOW, less MGTOW, or anything like that. And additionally, there are problems in the MGTOW circles or communities or spheres or whatever terms we want to use for them. And just like there are problems with mothers who kill their kids or teachers, priests, any other classification or group or whatever, there are horrible individual elements within each and every one of those groups. That's unavoidable. And that does not preclude or omit MGTOW. They have their negative elements. Lastly, I don't think MGTOW is for every man. I don't think just because you choose something and it works and it's the way that is flawless for you, that it equates to that working for everybody else. It doesn't mean they'll have the same feelings of success, the same benefits to it. And that's just, again, life. It's ignorant or arrogant or some combination of the two, again, for me to think because I choose something, it's it's the way you should do it, and you're wrong, or whatever insult I want to use to try to shame you into, again, trying to be more like me. I don't think that is the way that MGTOW should work. But with that out of the way, I want to talk about what men, males, and even boys are walking away from. I think this is the most important thing to ask yourself before committing to becoming a MGTOW or claiming the title of MGTOW or whatever term you want to use for that. I don't think this is an easy or a good thing. It can be, but I don't believe anything is generally or inherently good. You can do something others perceive as good for the most negative of intentions. It's all up to you as that person. My point is that in order to make walking away from something significant, meaningful, you must ask yourself and be able to answer, what am I actually walking away from, and why does walking away from it even mean anything? If you are, for example, walking away from an abusive relationship or a job that is negatively exploiting and influencing you, or perhaps walking away from a negative religious community or something like that, maybe you're leaving what started as a discussion group because it's starting to become an echo chamber and purity testing, community and all that. The things you are walking away from are not good in that case, and you are walking away because it's more beneficial to you, obviously. I think most people, MGTOW themselves included, think that MGTOW are walking away from women or walking away from relationships or love. And if you think that, you're not wrong, but we're also walking away from negative, unrealistic expectations. We're walking away from marriage systems that hurt more than help. We're walking away from the expectations to do things with no recognitions of those sacrifices. We're walking away from a lack of reciprocity for the things we do and from being villainized for the things that we do or the outcomes that we have based on our genetics and chromosomes. We are walking away from systems from top to bottom, from childhood to adulthood, that expect us to give, sacrifice. And that's it. Period. not get any, we're not expected to get anything in reward. In fact, we're shamed if we expect things in reward, if we expect recognition, expect pay, expect all these things. That's masculine behavior after all. What's the term that they use? Meritocracy. Ooh, that's a man thing. We can't have that. We are walking away from schooling systems focused so much on girls that the regression of boys is viewed as something positive, some form of progress, as opposed to trying to get women's and girls' results to speak for themselves, not speak to themselves only in comparison to if they're better than boys and males. That's not the way it works, because the lower those grades go, the lower everybody is achieving. We are walking away from people who expect us to go to war, protect their communities, our communities, fulfill roles that the moment something goes wrong, masculinity is to blame, and that male will be thrown out with the baby and the bathwater. And most importantly, I would argue, maybe second important, we are walking away from men. Men that stand arm in arm with everybody trying to shame us, to give us white feathers, to circumcise us, to shame us into roles, to just exploit us. And those same males that we walk away from don't blink an eye when we talk about male incarceration rates, male suicide rates, prison sexual assaults and rapes, things like that. They don't care. We are walking away from the males who try to shame us and treat us like the nails that stick out, because those get hammered down. Males who allow things like Iranian and Egyptian men to be brutalized, arrested, tortured, and killed. Walking away from the media who only report on the previously mentioned torture, assaults, murder of Egyptians and Iranians once something there accidentally happens to a woman. Then you get the headline. Then you get people in rage. We are walking away from politicians who will thump Bibles, beat on their chests, and stand talking about child rights, but never do anything about male genital mutilation. Walking away from actors and celebrities who ignore males and boys being ripped away from families, drugged, and introduced into lives as teenage and adolescent mercenaries, weaponized to rape and murder wholesale. But remember, we only bring back our girls. I'm sorry, hashtag bring back our girls. The hundreds and hundreds of innocent boys who were kidnapped or killed for months and months before that and after that, there's no hashtag for them. We are walking away from you who can't acknowledge things like that happen again until someone with a vagina is affected. We are walking away from a society that has movements to push every single policy or initiative for concerns, everything focused on people in need, people like women, black people, Native Americans, LGBT people, immigrants. We have societal movements for people called MAPS. That's minor attracted people. That's people who like to have sex with children. Normal people call them pedophiles. We have massive movements to try to get these people normalized. There's no massive push to help men. Not for jail time, suicide rates, drug dependency, homelessness, unfair justice systems, unfair divorce systems, on the work related deaths and injuries, things like that. No big deal. So this is the conundrum that I believe most MGTOW are not aware of, and if they are, they will not address or admit because it's a sore spot. We need society. Society is what keeps us from times when we had to worry about everything. We could be killed walking to an outhouse, going to relieve ourselves. And weather could do the trick just as much as any other wild animal or another human being. We, as men, built society. We've sacrificed and bled and built for everyone we loved, for people in the future. Again, that's one of the ironies is life changes when you have kids. You see this, you're building for the future, and now we have to walk away from it. If we are walking away from society because the tangible benefits outweigh us staying committed to and a part of that society, then we are not walking away from anything. We're going where we should be. We are where is the best. We are doing it because we will benefit from it. We're doing it because it's what makes sense and expected to do that. But if you have an amazing home and everything that you worked for, you thought is in that home, and everyone that you thought you wanted to be with you, you thought was there in that home. Everything seems perfect. Everything that you thought you were working for seems to be there. But if you walk away from that, the comforts and the security of that, the society, the circles around it, social circles, all that, having what everyone else thinks is what you need or what we work for or success or everything, happiness, only to walk away from it, that is what being a MGTOW is about. Most MGTOW lie to themselves that everything is wrong and bad about society and negative, and it's not. It's everything we wish would be used better, and that's why we're walking away from it. It's not a wonderful, beautiful thing. It leads, or I should say it can lead, to many enlightening things, self-awareness, experiencing degrees of freedom most people won't understand. But you have to walk away from something that's worth the sacrifice and all of that. Without society, we would not have anything to walk away from. We would just be roaming. And if there is literally nothing to walk away from, nothing, no sacrifice is a part of that, then there are no men going their own way. There are just men roaming and surviving. And that's it, because there's nothing to walk away from. Society allows us to, in a way, sometimes be more than the sum of our own parts. But it also gives us something to walk away from. Thomas Sowell said there are no answers or solutions. There are only trade-offs and compromises. And MGTOW is not above that. MGTOW itself is a trade-off and a compromise. We're not above anyone or better than anyone because we claim the title of MGTOW. We may be better than some people and happen to be a MGTOW, but it's not because we claim to be a MGTOW. I got a little bit rambly there at the end, but that wraps it up. Let me know what you think below. And if I could sum it up in one way, if you have a caveman with his mate in a cave, the alternative to leaving that, or let's even say a small settlement, let's say you have 8 families of that, it's beneficial to be around all those people, all that protection. But for whatever reason, if you decide I'm going to walk away from that, what are you walking to? You lose your security, lose your community, lose the people watching your back as you sleep. You lose the person who would literally watch your back as you're pooping so you're not getting attacked. It's certain death. That's the way I equate the situation. Now, granted, it's a little more convoluted because if I walk out, there's ways for me to survive, but it's me and the elements. It's not where I'm going to go borrow, stuff, getting people's good graces and get things. I'm walking away from all of that. I'm choosing to. So let me know your thoughts below. Go easy. And again, if it applies, happy Thanksgiving. And if not, happy Thursday.